Today I'd like to take a look at another game for classroom use, and this is the game of Earthquest, and it was a gamified experience for an earth and environmental science class at a middle college. And the class began as an entire way to gamify the whole course, but it ended up focusing mostly on the atmosphere unit for students. So if you take a look at Earthquest, the scenario is that students have transformed and they are now a group of aliens from the planet Arbor Vitae. And Arbor Vitae was once a lush and thriving community of dendrites living in peace together. Everyone had access to food, water, shelter, and the resources they needed. Dendrites did not even have a word for poor because everything was so plentiful and everyone had more than enough. About 50 years ago, dendrites were so comfortable that they experienced a huge baby boom. Dendrite couples had baby dendrites at record rates. Most families had a minimum of 10 children. The result of this population boom is that there are no longer enough resources on Arbor Vitae to go around. And so this scenario introduces some concepts for environmental science, such as carrying capacity, limited resources, population growth, and it gives students an opportunity in a fun way to explore the causes and effects of population changes within a species. Earthquest was not as much character-driven as my other game, Kingdom Quest. Instead, it was more focused on student teams. And so those teams of students who have now been transformed into aliens had a mission from their planet to establish a colony on Earth. And so this was a colony where they were supposed to be setting up a sustainable colony using their resources in a sustainable manner to solve the population crisis on Arbor Vitae, that the aliens could start to populate Earth and learn from their mistakes using sustainable methods to support the ecosystems already in place. The game began with a discussion of population and carrying capacity, some case studies about different species, and then students were assigned missions all the way up to mission 8 to explore these concepts more in depth. For one of their early missions, students drew a biome out of a hat. So all of the different biomes of the world were in a hat. Each team drew one biome, and then they were challenged to establish a colony on Earth in that biome. So they used Google Maps and the internet to perform research, and they could choose any location on Earth as long as it coincided to their biome. There were 3 different colonies of students, and so they each set up a colony. The first one here chose to set up in Queensland, Australia, and so they set up a colony in the rainforest and talked about the location of their colony. They had to research the flora and fauna in their colony and their ecosystem and just give an overview on their colony's page. The second colony who set up their colony had a chaparral biome, and so they chose to be near Los Angeles, California. Again, researched the flora and fauna on their page to establish a home base. And then the final colony had the desert, and they also chose Australia. Interestingly enough, they chose the little sandy desert because strategically it actually borders a body of water, and they were thinking about the need for water in a desert situation. But again, here's their homepage that gives information about their particular colony. Students presented these home pages and the information about their biome to the class so that the class benefited from knowledge about each biome. And then the remaining missions were completed through the lens of students' particular biome. So this unit focused on atmosphere and weather. Their culminating activity was actually mission 6, where they were keeping a weather journal. But they were keeping a weather journal based on the location of their colonies. So each day they had to research the weather for their particular colony and then predict what they thought the next day's weather would be like using satellite data, using temperature and humidity, following the movement of air masses to make predictions about the weather each day. And you can see there's a rubric there. So students earned points again for completing this mission. These points were not related to their grade, but their grade was based on the rubric when they turned in their weather journal. This has been a short overview of the game of Earthquest, a gamified unit about the atmosphere. for students in earth and environmental science in a high school classroom. Thank you.